Welcome to another Dragonlance Saga episode. This is going to be a little bit different. I don't even know if this is going to end up working out or not. My setup is as good as I can get it, but I'm actually doing a playthrough of a book of all strange things. So I don't know if this is going to be interesting for people to watch slash listen to, because again, it is a very sort of personalized reading. I'm going to, set it up here in just a second and let you see how this works. But by way of a bit of background, this book was written by Douglas Niles. The series is called Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Adventure Game Books. In total, there are 16. There are actually 4 Dragonlance specific ones. We have Prisoners of Pax Tharkaz, the Soul Forge, which is actually the first Soul Forge story of Wasteland taking his test of high sorcery. How exciting is that? And then we have Lords of Doom, which we're going to be playing today, and we have Shadow over Nordmar, which is not anything like its cover. So it's kind of interesting that these Dragonlance stories are out there, but I've had this book, Lords of Doom, since as long as I can remember. And I've never actually done a full playthrough of it. It's just sort of sat on my shelf because I collected it from, I don't know, it must have been like one of those yard sales or something that I got a lot of my D&D stuff from when I was a kid. Really kind of strange that I've never played it, and yet I've had it this whole time. I think that goes for a lot of people who are just fans of a setting. They collect a bunch of stuff and they never really do anything with it. You know what I mean? Hey, Jade, thanks for joining live. I appreciate you. Maybe I'll lean on you guys for some of my decision making. The problem is I'm streaming this in 4K, which means there is an inevitable delay in what you're seeing versus what I've actually said. And I think it's like a 12 to 20 seconds, depending on when you tuned in initially. So that being said, I think this might be interesting. I don't know. Palmer Palm, great name. Good to see you. So let's see how this works out. So you got a little bit of real life. You've got my desk here. You've got the book, and you've got, of course, a dice. So the way this is set up is this is supposed to be a single-player Advanced Dungeons and Dragons playthrough, right? So as you can see on my character card here on the side, I'm playing Gilthanis of Quonesty. I'm a fighter magic user. I'm 254 years old, but I look great. For my age. We have skills of perception, fighting, and spellcasting. Perception, obvious, it's how I'm going to perceive throughout the game. I'm going to have to roll to see if, where I go in this choose your adventure style game. Fighting, it's whether or not I live or die, and I have hit points, and I actually might die. Now, there's 8 different endings to this. I don't know if I'll actually end up seeing them, one of them, or if I'm going to die throughout the process. So that'll be interesting to figure out. I gain experience points, which I can then use to bolster my rolls, but I have to choose before I roll, and I have to decide how many experience points I use before each roll to help supplement it. This is a pretty good dice. I rolled a 6 when it came to hit points, and you do that at the very beginning as a setup, so I have a total of 28 hit points at the beginning here. I don't know why this is highlighted. I turned this little bookmark into a PDF form so that I could use it for this setup of a gameplay. Anyway, spell casting is a little bit different. As I'm a magic user, the spell casting is the number of spells that I can actually cast. So once I cast one, I remove one of those 4 that's listed. When you start this book / game, you have 7 points to divvy up between perception, fighting, and spell casting. As you can see, I added 3 with spell casting, 2 with fighting, 2 with perception, and if my math holds, that's 7. It may not. I don't know. So I got my glasses on so I can actually read this book. And here's the thing. Douglas Niles, he's been there from the beginning of Dragonlance, writing Dragonlance stories. So mad respect to Douglas Niles here. I think we really do need to thank him because he's done a wonderful job helping flesh out this world for us. I'm going to try to angle this so that you guys can see what I'm reading and you can see the images, the illustrations here. So the cover art is by Larry Elmore. Of course, we all know this wonderful painting. It is truly beautiful. Let me try to get a close-up of it if I can. Oh, focus. It's on autofocus, so who knows what's going to happen. But the interior illustrations are done by Diane Magnuson. I hope I'm saying that right. Anyway, this was released in September 1986 as a story. So let's dive into the characters, shall we? Your character. In this book, you are Gilthanas of Quilinisty, an elven prince trained as a fighter and magic user. Although you're still a young adult, you have lived for several centuries, and as an agent and ambassador for your nation, you have visited many of the capitals of your world, Krynn. The past 2 years, your adventures have been shaded by the dark backdrop of a war that has raged across the face of Krynn. Forces of dragons and their allies, led by powerful dragon high lords, have spread a reign of conquest and terror throughout the world. Even your own nation has been occupied, although most of the elves of Quilinisty escaped westward as refugees. In light of the war, your recent travels have been a series of life-or-death adventures. You have had the good fortune to meet up with a small party of travelers who have become your fast companions. And you have fallen in love. The elf maid Silvara, a silver-haired vision of perfection, stole your heart during weeks of exhausting fighting and running. When Silvara showed your companions a secret no elf should have known, the key to forging the Dragonlance, a legendary weapon for killing dragons, you were amazed and curious. When you finally learned the truth, you were shocked. Silvara is no elf maid. In her true form, she is a silver dragon. As an elf, it's difficult for you to reconcile even relationships between humans and elves, and the gulf between elf and dragon is many times as wide. Even thinking of Silvara brings you great pain, and you have vowed never to see her again, instead to throw your entire being into the war against the evil forces defiling your world. So it goes through telling you how to play the game. I've already read this stuff, so it shouldn't be any problem. But again, all these illustrations are just great. Dragon High Lord, love it. We're supposed to be playing, starting on page 15 right here as the start of the adventure. And yes, Todd, they did everything for Dragonlance, but not just Dragonlance. As I mentioned, there are 16 of these. I think only one of them is Ravenloft. There's some that are just like ninja, like based, you know. So the Oriental Adventures AD&D 1.5 gamebook that came out, early on in the TSR era. And then a bunch of, I think there's Greyhawk ones are the other ones. Either way, it's interesting. This was one of the biggest campaign worlds of its era. And so of course, they're going to throw this into everything that they produce. Jade, you didn't even know these existed. Well, you're welcome. These are meant for kids. They're not meant for grown-ass adults like me, but I'm going to have fun with it either. Anyway, Silvara sounds hot. All right, let me take a drink of my coffee. And we will dive. I'm going to try to keep my frame here for you. This is a weird setup. I am going to have to use the 6-sided dice at some point during fights and skill checks and stuff, so hopefully that's all right. All right, 1. The streets of Palanthas seem strangely subdued, considering the fact that a great victory has just been won here. You, Gilthanas of Quilinisty, played a part in that victory, risking your life in the defense of this ungrateful city. Jeez. You were fighting at High Clarist's Keep, the only land approach to Palanthas, with a courageous battalion of Solamnic knights, when they confronted the Blue Dragons and their forces under the command of the Blue Lady, one of the Dragon High Lords serving the Dark Queen. Kidiara ut Matar, for those of you not in the know. The knights fought desperately to hold their fortress, and in the end, the ranks of the Blue Lady legions broke and fled the field. The appearance of a long-vanished ancient weapon, the Dragonlance, helped make the victory possible. Palanthas was saved, but from what? Walking along the quiet streets, you feel as much hostility and fear from the citizens of Palanthas as you feel gratitude. Even the knights, weary from battle, were met, not with a parade or a celebration, but with accusations of arousing the wrath of the High Lord. Many citizens of Palanthas would rather throw themselves upon the tender mercy of the Blue Lady than risk losing their material possessions in war. You slosh through the melting snow in your leather moccasins, and the cold, wet feeling matches your mood as you plod brooding toward the waterfront. Lord Gunthar temporary leader of the Knights of Salamnia and a close friend of yours, has told you that another cargo of Dragonlances has arrived in Palanthas. You've been ordered to supervise their unloading. Palanthas never seemed like a cheerful town, but on this gloomy spring day with a low-hanging mass of gray clouds that swallowed even the summit of the ominous black needle known as the Tower of High Sorcery, sadness seems to pour from every doorway. "Yo! There! Elf!" A voice from above calls for your attention, and you realize with a start that you've reached the waterfront. The speaker stands aboard a tall, newly arrived merchant ship. "Do you hail from Ergoth?" you call the speaker. You know from the man's drooping mustache and the crest of the rose on his tunic that he must be a Salamnic knight. "Aye, did Gunthar send you?" "Yes, I'd like to begin unloading immediately," you say, moving right to business because you want to get that precious Dragonlances to the Knights' armory as quickly as possible. "If you'll first help the passenger debark, we'll get to it," the knight calls in answer. A narrow gangplank leads steeply upward to the ship's gunwale, and this is where you stand to aid the passenger. The knight helps a robed figure climb from the hold, and you catch your breath as the robe is cast back to reveal a cascade of silver hair. Your shock confirmed as a snow-white Kushi, a husky-like elven dog, bounds from the hold and limps nimbly down the gangplank. Silvara. Her beautiful blue eyes lock onto yours as she reaches the gangplank. She's biting her lower lip slightly, and you can see the apprehension in her eyes as she forces a hesitant smile. Your own eyes, you fear, are betraying the pain that comes back as piercing as ever. Sorry, I just lost my... Jeez. Your aching love for this woman, coupled with the knowledge of her true nature, twists within you. Reflexively, you grasp her hand as she descends the gangplank. She moves lightly with cat-like grace. You cannot picture this slender maid in the actual form, that of Dargent, a silver dragon many centuries older than you. Welcome, you stammer. You had vowed never to see her again, and the aching in your chest reminds you of the reason. Certainly, the loveliest things that are those you want desperately, but can never truly have. "Hello, Gilthanas." Her voice is as soft as you remember. "I'm sorry for the shock. I was afraid that if I told you I was coming, you would refuse to see me." To yourself, you reluctantly acknowledge the truth of her words. Dargo, Silvara's Koshi, bounds through the slush on the docks and then up and down along the beach, obviously overjoyed about this return to land. Finally, he sprints back to his mistress and sniffs your outstretched hand. His tail wags in recognition. "I think he's glad to see you, too," Silvara says, almost in a whisper. She pauses, then speaks again, her voice tense. "Gilthanas, I must speak with you. I need your help. It's urgent." Her eyes convey her intensity. "Hey," the sailor calls from the deck. "I thought you wanted to get these things unloaded." "Yes, certainly," you answer, but your eyes remain glued to Silvara's face. "Come and see me as soon as you can. Please." The elf maid's voice is pleading, bordering on despair. "I will await you at the White Dolphin Inn." Turning, Silvara moves slowly up the street, Dargo at her heels. The ready hands of the knights crewing the ship aid you in unloading the Dragonlances, and within an hour you lock the weapons behind the iron doors protecting the armory of the Knights of Salamnia. Your work done, you must answer the question that you have delayed considering. Should you go to Silvara and open the doors to your heartache? The brief encounter at the docks was almost more than you could take. The women you love, the only woman you have ever loved, standing there, beautiful, attractive, and tangible, but for some cruel, unfathomable reason, a dragon, a beast with which you can have no fruitful relationship. If you wish to hear what Silvara has to say, turn to 201. If you want to avoid her to save yourself and her heartache of each other's company, turn to 41. All right, guys, what do you think? 201 or 41? Personally, I don't care if I can't produce fruits, as they say. I mean, just hooking up with a dragon, that's a story, right? I imagine she's not scaly in her human form. I mean, you don't want to chafe, right? It's weird. All right. I don't know what you guys are going to say, but I'm going to 201. We're going to see what happens here. All right, come on. Where's 201? She's waiting. She's waiting. These takes me back, these books, like completely. Jeez, I got to go to the end? Here we go. 201. The White Dolphin Inn stands at the fringes of the waterfront, yet you reach it in a few minutes. You wonder briefly if you're really eager to help Silvara, or if you just want to see her again. The main room of the inn is quiet with... Yeah, Jade, definitely. You wonder briefly if you're really eager to... The main room of the inn is quiet with few patrons about this early hour. The innkeeper, a stooped and graying old man, looks up as you enter. I'm looking for an elven woman named Silvara, you begin. She said that she would stay here. She has the room at the end of the hall, the innkeeper replies, gesturing to a stairway that leads to the second floor. The door swings open when you knock, and you see Silvara on the other side of the room, standing on a balcony overlooking an inner courtyard. Once again, you are stunned by her beauty, but you angrily shake off your feelings as she turns to face you. Thank you for coming, she greets you. The sincerity in her voice is apparent, and you feel cheap and selfish for even considering ignoring her plea. I understand the pain you must feel, she continues. I'm sorry that I have to keep my nature a secret for so long, for too long. You understand what she means. You did not learn that she was a dragon until after you had fallen in love with her. I've tried to put my pain beside me, you answer. I come as your friend, because you say you need help. Yes, she replies, as if reminded of her mission. Will you join me on the balcony? We can talk here. Turn to 71. All right, 71. Gilthanas, I have learned many things since last we spoke, Silvara begins. I understand the full nature of the oath taken by the good dragons. The oath? You cannot keep the scorn from your voice. You know that all the good dragons of Krynn, the gold, copper, brass, bronze, and silver dragons, have chosen to remain uninvolved in the war for control of the world. What force is it that prevents the good dragons from aiding those who need them so desperately? The oath was exacted by the Queen of Darkness herself, Silvara explains, her eyes pleading with you to understand. She has captured all of the good dragons, dragon eggs, and threatens to destroy them all if the good dragons join in the war. Silvara's voice catches. Those eggs are the key to the entire future of the good dragon races. So long as they remain hostage, no good dragon will risk their destruction. What does this have to do with me? I have learned, through Paladine himself, of the location of these eggs, Silvara exclaims. You are impressed despite yourself, for Paladine is the mightiest of all the gods of good. He is the counterpart to the Queen of Darkness. Where are they? They are kept in the city of Sanction, deep below one of the 3 volcanoes known as the Lords of Doom. Gilthanas, I do not believe the eggs are safe. You traveled to Sanction once, many years earlier, and the memories of that awful place remained with you. 3 towering volcanoes, collectively known as the Lords of Doom, surround the city and spew forth a steady rain of lava and ash. The city is smoky, hot, and dirty, just the kind of place the Queen of Darkness would choose as a lair. How do you know the eggs are not safe? And even if you're right, what can we do? Paladine warned me, the elf maid replies. Her voice remains strong and steady as she continues. And then I have nightmares. I see our eggs in my dreams, and I sense a perversion so foul, so debased, that I awaken in horror. Gilthanas, I must go to Sanction and discover the secret of the Queen's treachery. If I can prove what I suspect, I can convince the good dragons to join the war against evil. Silvara continues breathlessly. As you know, my personal vow to Paladine allows me to walk the face of Krynn as Silvara. I am forbidden to change to my true form as long as the oath is binding. And this is why I came to you. As Silvara, I have only the abilities of a small sword-wielding elf maid. I know that I will not get very far if I try to pursue this quest alone. Gilthanas, will you journey to Sanction with me? 59. Charlotte. Yeah, man. All right, you pause for a moment, not really surprised at Silvara's plea. She speaks the truth, as you would readily acknowledge. She would never make it past the first patrol of guards to accost her. Realizing this, you know you have no choice but to accompany her. Your own skills is far from limitless, and the journey will doubtless be perilous, but the opportunity to strike such a blow against the forces of evil cannot be refused. Nothing would prove so disastrous to the plea of the Dark Queen as the arrival of the good dragons arrayed against her in war. Yes, I'll go, you reply. Even as you begin to consider the problems inherent in the mission, another reason for going nags at you. Dragon or no, you love this woman, and you will love her until you die. Thank you, she responds simply. A strong yearning nearly compels you to take her in your arms, but instead you speak. The journey to Sanction is long, whether we cross the plains of Throttle and Estwilde or take a ship around Cape Cairgoth into the new sea. Have you selected your route? She smiles almost apologetically. I thought I would ask your advice after you agreed to come along. You smile in return, relaxing a little. You were sure that I'd say yes? I hoped, and I knew you very well. And indeed you do, you admit. Knowing that the decision is up to you, you think for a moment. The sea route will doubtless be faster, but you will have to trust your fate to some captain who could as easily betray you as deliver you to your destination. On land, the hazards will be more frequent, but you will have your own skills to rely on for success or failure. If you wish to hire a ship for your journey, turn to 105. If you decide instead to travel overland, turn to 217. All right, here we go. Here we go. Do we go on by ship or by land? This is the big question here, people. I'm sure we're going to get to fighting here soon. I kind of think on land. Then we're up to our own devices, and we're not up to a ship captain who could very well betray us. What do you think? I'm going to get a drink of coffee here. By sea or by land? You know what? I'm doing land. I'm going to do it. Overland, turn to 217. Come on now. 216, 217. Early the next morning, you and Silvara begin making preparations for your overland trek. You visit the shop of a map maker you know and purchase a parchment map displaying many hidden passes over the nearby Vingard Mountains. The map will enable you to cross the range away from the concentrated armies of the Dragon High Lords. Meanwhile, Silvara gathers provisions and heavy clothing. Even though spring has come to Palanthas, you know that the high reaches of the mountains will still be locked in winter's grip. You and Silvara will each carry a heavy backpack, and even Dargo will bear a pair of loaded saddlebags. Until you can eat some of your food stockpiles and discard the heaviest items of clothing, the journey will be quite slow. The preparations take a single day, and you sleep soundly that night, wondering how long it will be before you again lie in a bed. Turn to 3. Oh yeah, 3. Not page 3. Part 3. You arise before dawn, and by the time the sun clears the ridge of the Vingard Mountains, your little expedition has left Palanthas. Silvara and you are both strong from many months of campaigning, and Dargo bounds along as if he doesn't notice the extra weight. The land climbs steadily, and you quickly branch off from the well-traveled roads. For several days, you make your way towards one of the hidden passes shown on your map. The weather remains good, but you notice an increasing chill to the air, and the landscape to either side still slumbers beneath a thick layer of snow. At one point, your attention is called to an avalanche across the valley from you. You pause awestruck to watch a raging torrent of snow plummet from the lofty crags of the high mountains onto the valley below. Reminded of the powerful forces acting among these mountains, you renew your climb with extra vigilance. The trail works its way steeply upward with a sheer snowy slope stretching above you to the right, and similarly treacherous expanse dropping away to the left. Dargo leads the way, you follow with Silvara in the rear. Roll a die and add the result to your perception skill score. If the total is 20 or more, turn to 23. If it's less, turn to 63. Remember, you may add experience points to your total before you roll the die, but you must subtract any experience points used from your character stat card. All right, my perception's pretty good. 15. I need to get above a 23. Oh boy. I can't. No matter what. And even if I use my 3 experience points, I'm going to be going, all right, well, let's just roll for fun. I mean, I got the max amount, right? Is this weighted dice? This is the second 6 in a row. All right, so that's 21. It's still under. Oh, wait, the total is 20 or more. Okay, so I barely made it. Turn to 23. Sorry, I was looking at the 23. All right, 23 it is. We did it. Woo! This is so ridiculous. Oh, we're going to be bumping. I don't know about draconians, but we have to sleep in a tent together. All right, 23. You stop suddenly, studying the snowdrift to your right. You notice that it is unusually lumpy and does not look as if it was formed by wind. Dargo, you whisper, come here. The dog responds quickly, while at the same time you shuck off your pack and draw Quicksilver. Quicksilver is your sword. Silvara also divests herself of her pack and draws her sword. Dargo shakes his pack, and the three of you stand ready for combat. I think something is setting up an ambush, you explain to Silvara. With a few sharp commands in Elven, she orders Dargo forward. The Kushi leaps at the suspicious snowdrift and starts to dig. An enraged bellow issues from the snow, and a gigantic creature erupts. Even as the monster swings a huge warhammer that just barely misses the dog, you recognize the creature as a frost giant? Oh my gosh! One of these savage denizens of the high mountain reaches. Holy crap! The giant is a formidable foe. For a split second, you debate whether to charge it with your sword or attempt to drive it off with one of your precious magic spells. What do you guys think? Should I fight the frost giant with me and Silvara and Koshi, or should I just try to scare it off? I'm kind of inclined to scare it off. I don't know if I can beat a frost giant. Let me know what you think while I get a drink. It's crazy. A freaking frost giant. Yeah, it's supposed to be a simple book. Simple game mechanics. You know what? I'm gonna scare it away. There's no way I can take down a frost giant. It's gonna cut me up. Let's go to 18. You decide to end this battle as quickly and cleanly as possible, which means that you must use a spell. The frost giant you know is vulnerable to a fiery attack, but your most effective spell, Fireball, would also incinerate Dargo. Instead, you call upon another effective offensive spell, Magic Missile. Pointing your finger directly at the giant's face, you concentrate intently as you utter the magic words. Magic energy courses through your body, and 3 dart-like bolts of power burst from your fingertips to strike the giant squarely in the face. Suck it, giant! All right, let me take out one of these since I just used it. Mark off a spell on your character stat card. With a howl of rage and pain, the giant stumbles backward, blinking and rubbing his eyes. Die, monster! You cry, leaping forward to take advantage of the creature's confusion. With an equally bloodthirsty cry, Silvara charges at your side. The battle cries, coupled with the magic and the tenacious grip of the Kushi, prove too much for the giant. He turns and lumbers down the mountainside. You sigh in relief, knowing the battle is over. Add 1 experience point to your total and turn to 31. Oh, yeah. All right, we're at 29. Oh, wait, that's hit points. I'm stupid. All right. Whoop, whoop. All right, that worked out well. Let's go to 31. I scared away a frost giant. Suck it, frost giant. All right, here we go. With increased vigilance, your little expedition resumes the climb toward the summit of the pass. For 3 more days, you must move upward. With each step, the snow gets deeper and the landscape more bleak. Donning snowshoes, you and Silvara must now lead the way, with Dargo floundering along in your tracks as best he can. Forbidding crags tower above you on all sides, and the trail is often virtually indistinguishable. The climb is struggle enough, so you're startled when Silvara's voice, I can't even speak, breaks the near silence of the inhospitable stretch of wilderness. Gilthanas, I can't shake the feeling that something terrible is happening to the good dragon eggs. Concern and urgency are apparent in her breathless voice. You turn to look at her, and she continues. The nightmare. We must bring the terror to an end. You consider your adversary the Queen of Darkness. You know that there is nothing she would not do to keep the good dragons from entering the war against her. But you and Silvara hardly seem like the material to take on forces of supremely powerful, supremely evil queen. We will do what we can, you say tentatively, aware that your answer is not what Silvara wanted to hear. We will succeed. You tag on, but it sounds lame even to you. Turn to 90. Yeah, I don't know if they quite thought this through, going just with the 2 of them. But this is the point of the spell. Not the spell. This is the point of the book, right? We're going to seek out the what is going on with these dragon eggs. If we can rescue them and bring the dragons into the war. So this is a very pivotal moment for the, during the War of the Lance, which I think is interesting that we get to play with. You know what I forgot? I forgot if it said 90 or 89. Oh, it's 90. Okay. You press on until finally you reach the summit of the pass. The wind howling through the narrow niche in the mountains nearly push you backward. The only positive thing you can think of is that for the next few days you will be moving downhill. No signs of life have disturbed the barren landscape since you encountered with the giant. And the sense of void is becoming oppressive. Because of your own confused feelings, even Silvara's presence does little to nullify the pervasive loneliness. Barely pausing to acknowledge the summit, you begin the trek down the other side. Braced for another long, lonely stretch, you're startled when, from somewhere ahead of you, comes a human voice, the voice of an old man. "Confound it! Where did that goat wander off to?" The man is obviously angry, and he's not far away. In fact, it sounds as if he's just coming around the next bend of the trail. "Come here, goat, wherever you are. I can't be spending the whole winter... Why, hello there!" The figure stops, surprised as you come into view. You and Silvara stop, stunned as you recognize the old man. "Fizban!" you cry simultaneously. "Yeah, we got some Fizban up in here! Woo-woo!" "Where?" the old man cries, whirling around in panic. "Oh, yes, that's me, isn't it?" He turns back to you. "Say, you haven't seen a goat wandering around here, have you? I'm doing some goat herding, and my herd wandered off. I can't imagine where she has gone." Ignoring the old man's ramblings, you embrace your old friend in joy. "Fizban, it's me, Gilthanis." "So it is. And this young lady. Why, Silvara, how are you, my dear?" Silvara appears totally unnerved by the appearance of the old mage. She ignores her query and asks, stammering, It wasn't necessary for you to come?" "Silvara, aren't you glad to see him?" you ask in surprise. "Well, if you feel that way," the old mage blurts out, stalking forward to the look of a father reprimanding a child. "It's not that, it's just..." She stops abruptly as the old man's eyes meet hers. You wonder fleetingly what has passed between them, but the thought is squelched as Fizban trips over a protruding tree root and lands ungracefully in the heavy snow. Helping him to his feet, you ask him how he came to be here, but despite your most persistent questioning, the old wizard will tell you no more about his unexpected appearance. The fact that the idea of goat herding in this environment is ludicrous doesn't seem to bother him a bit, and, knowing Fizban, you reluctantly accept his story. "Would you accompany us to the plains?" you ask. "After all, it seems likely that your, goat might have gone that way." "Why, of course!" Fizban exclaims. "Why didn't I think of that?" Tactfully, neither you nor Silvara choose to answer his question. Your expedition expanded by one person, you begin to make your way down from the pass. "I think we can do this now, since we have a god with us." All right, 37. Yeah, I think Silvara knows who he is, actually, but I don't think Gilthanis does. For weeks you march steadily eastward. The snowy valleys of the Vingard Mountains soon give way to the Solamnic Plain. Maintaining strict caution and vigilance, you move carefully across the brown grassland. Bands of ogres, draconians, and hobgoblins frequently pass nearby, but so far you've successfully escaped detection. Finally, you enter the narrow strip of plains known as Throttle. A night, 5 weeks into your journey, finds you camped in the shelter of a grove of scrubby trees near the bank of a shallow stream. Weary from the many days of travel, you assign the watch rotation. Silvara and Fizban fall quickly to sleep while you struggle to remain alert through the first watch. Roll a die and add the result to your perception skill score of a total of 20 or more, turned at 181. If it's less, turned to 134. All right, here we go. I need a 5 or 6. Come on, 5 or 6. Go! All right, 19 is not going to do it, so we go to 134. Dang it. 134, where is you? Doggone weariness. Weariness nags at your very bones. Desperately, you try to remain awake and alert, knowing that the security of your companions and your mission depends upon you. Finally, however, the irresistible pull of sleep closes your eyes. Some hours later, you awaken to the sound of Dargo's frantic barking. Instantly leaping to your feet, you draw Quicksilver and curse yourself for falling asleep. As you stand, you see a large number of shadowy figures emerging from the woods, charging for your camp. "Hobgoblins!" you cry, startling Silvara to alertness. The elf maid leaps to your side, her long sword gleaming in the faint light. Your elven night vision reveals dozens of attackers. The hobgoblins are ugly, grunting, human-like creatures. Though somewhat cowardly, they are capable of fighting ferociously. Dargo leaps at the leading attacker, sinking his sharp teeth into the monster's throat. When his sudden strike with Quicksilver brings the next one down, 3 more swarm in to attack. However, and you desperately wheel to face this new onslaught. Roll a die and add this result to your fighting skill score. If the total is 19 or more, go to 140. If it's less, go to 50. Fighting is 16. All right, come on. Come on. All right. We got 20. So we go to 140. Like the strike of a venomous snake, your magical sword lashes forward to drop one of the hobgoblins. You hastily recover your guard, preventing either of the other monsters from scoring a hit against you. Silvara battles courageously behind you, holding those at your back at bay. Again, you strike, and another hobgoblin falls. Several more close in to replace it, though, and one of these strikes a grazing blow on your leg. The wound is not serious, but you lose 2 hit points. Oh, crap. Okay. You and Silvara back towards a thick tree trunk to try and break the circle of hobgoblins around you. Dargo snarls and bites somewhere in the melee, and you have no idea whether Fizban even woke up. Cutting and slashing with Quicksilver, you wound a couple of hobgoblins, but the yowling, battle-crazed creatures close in more tightly. Again, roll the die and add the result to your fighting skill score. If 20 or more, turn to 51. If it's less, turn to 96. Remember, you can add experience points to your totals before you roll the die. All right. Come on, baby. We need this. Oh, crap. All right, we got 18. That's not good. So we go to 96. 96. Oh, crap, I'm going to hurt. The whistling sweep of your attack cuts the head from the shoulders of the hulking hobgoblin, but another one of the monsters stabs you in the arm at the same time. You lose 4 hit points. Oh my gosh. Where was that? I totally just lost. Oh, there it is. Responding in desperation, you're mortally wound your attacker. Silvara is able to dispatch another and momentarily holds the rest at bay. Turn to 88. That sucks. That just sucks. You recover your breath just as the savage creatures rush forward in a concerted charge. Dargo, bleeding from several wounds, jumps into the fray and clamps another unfortunate hobgoblin in his powerful jaws. The night echoes with clashes and clangs as your elven steel meets the crude iron weapons of the monsters. Roll a die and add the result of your fighting skill score. Oh my gosh. Dude, if I get... yeah, I just wanted to... It's an adventure game, and so that's why I categorize it under gaming. Kellen Denza. Thanks for joining us live, by the way. If I die from this first hobgoblin attack, I'm going to be super bummed. All right, here we go. Oh, boy. Come on, Fizban, where are you? It was a 2. Oh, man. Only 18. Oh, man. All right. If it's less, move it to 203. Oh, boy. I'm going to die. This sucks already. Stupid book. Come on, where's 203? There we go. The hobgoblins press their attack with uncharacteristic bravado and savagery. Several more fall to your skillful defense, but occasionally one of their crude swords reaches you or Silvara and draws blood. You lose 4 more hit points. Oh my god. Ah. Wait. Math. Right? Is that right? No, it was 18. I don't know how to add. Sorry, guys. The other use 4 more hit points. It's only when a handful stand amid the scattered bodies of their comrades that the hobgoblins finally lose their stomach for fighting. Apparently, the treasure they had hoped to gain by slaying your party does not make up for the high cost of the fight. They pull back slowly, watching you warily for a moment, then, as if acting on a cue, they turn and run for the woods. 152. Oh, man. They just got bored of killing me. That's worse than dying. They just got bored. Okay. An experienced voice from behind causes you, an unexpected voice, causes you to spin an alarm. Quicksilver at the ready, you relax as you see the speaker. Can a person get a single minute's sleep around here? Grumbles Fizban, climbing to his feet from the bed of grass Silvara made for him. Ignoring the bodies of the hobgoblins, even as he steps over one, the old mage walks up to you and wags an accusatory finger in your face. You two were making such a racket that you woke me from a fine dream. I thank you to be more considerate in the future. With that, he stalks back to his bed and lies down, pointedly turning his back to you. In moments, he is snoring. Even Silvara shrugs in amusement. You and she examine your own wounds and Dargo's. After doing as much bandaging and cleaning as is possible, you follow Fizban's lead and collapse into an exhausted sleep. The morning comes all too soon. Turn to 197. All right. Let's continue on our journey. Just not happy about this so far. And I would have reprimanded Fizban for staying asleep. That's crap. Aching all over, you awaken to a chill gray dawn. After checking the bandages on your wounds, you get your little expedition organized to move on again in search of the dragon eggs. The goal seems obscure, though, as you march again across the trackless plains. Turn to 118. For many more days you march, finally passing from the plains of Throttle to the barren wilderness of Estwilde. Although the soldiers of the dragon armies are not so common here, the wilderness itself holds threats that you must be aware of. Wild animals, wandering creatures you once thought existed only in childhood stories, even outlaws or cutthroats might interrupt your mission if you're not vigilant. One night, after a week in Estwilde, you camp beside a quiet brook. The sky is cloudy, so the night is very dark. In the inky blackness, you can see that a faint glow emanates from the water in the stream. You wonder if the water might not be enchanted. Leaving the others and following the flow upstream, you see that the water emerges from a small spring not far from your camp. Even there, it has a beautiful iridescence. Your curiosity is aroused, of course. You do not know what kind of enchantment may have been placed upon this water, whether it would be beneficial or harmful to drink. You do know, however, that there is only one way to find out the nature of the glowing water. If you decide to take a drink of the water, turn to 5. If you would rather not risk it, turn to 124. Oh boy. Should I drink the water? What do you guys think? I don't know. I mean, it could be like healing water. It could also be poison. It could also love me up and turn me into a toad. They loved us up and turned us into a toad, Everett. You know, I'm kind of hurt right now. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to risk it. 124. It's too much at stake. You decide that your mission is fraught with enough risk as it is. Drinking mysterious magical water can only add to the element of risk, and this you decide not to do. You spend a quiet night by a little stream. With the coming of dawn, your party rises once again and continues the march across the wilderness. 168. Todd, drink it! Sorry, man. I probably should have. You know what? I'm going to look really quick. 68. To see, because I'm curious. It was 5. Did I make a good decision or not? You decided to see a drink of the water to help you, and then you sense the magic. Oh, it doesn't even tell me on 5. Okay, well. Oh, shit. I forgot what. I need to pay attention. Because I forgot which one it told me to go to. Doggone it. Do you guys remember what what I was supposed to go to? I think it was 168. Ugh, this sucks. All right, I'm going to start with 168. Let me know if I was wrong. Estwilde sprawls for miles around you, a dry and barren country. The sparse grass crunches underfoot, and the only larger plants are some spindly, thorny bushes. In the haze of the distance, towering bluffs of yellow stone jut in from the horizon like giant fangs. An occasional bird of prey soars overhead, coasting on updrafts and high winds, but there's no other sign of animal life in Estwilde. Nor do you find water. By the 4th day of your journey across this wasteland, you begin to worry about your water supply. You, Silvara, and Dargo each carry a large skin of drinking water. I was just curious. Jacob. Enough to last a week or a little longer. It will take more time than that, though, to cross Estwilde, so you must find a source of water somewhere in this hostile country. On your 5th day in Estwilde, you crest a low pass between two of the craggy bluffs. Below, you spot the first signs of habitation you have seen in days. A pair of square stone buildings stand either side of a tall tower. Just beyond the buildings lies a well. The structures look suspiciously like a military outpost, so caution is essential. Estwilde, as well as the rest of the section of Krynn, lies firmly under the control of the dragon armies. This garrison is almost certain to be hostile. 173. Let's keep an eye on this place for a while, you suggest, with a longing look at the well. Silvara agrees. Nonsense, declares Fizban to your consternation. I say we go down and get a drink. The old man strides forward, and it is with great difficulty that you and Silvara persuade him to stop. We will get water later, you promise from your station on Fizban's chest. After what, I sat on him? After an hour, you see a creature emerge from one of the buildings and draw a bucket of water from the well. True to your suspicions, it is a draconian, a lizard-like aberration of a man, with small wings, ugly clawed hands, and a generally scaly visage. Go to 162. 162. Yeah, you know what? That's not a bad idea, Caladenza. I think I might do that after the fact, though. Just listen to this again and mark down where I'm going. Though that'll be more time consuming, to be fair. Draconians, you mutter in disgust. I might have known. What do you think? Inquired Silvara quietly. Do we stand a chance of getting some water, or should we move on and try to find another source? I wish I knew, you said quietly, frustration welling up inside you. Do you want to try and figure out a way to get some water from this well? Go to 79. Or should you move on and look for a more convenient source? 185. I mean, it's draconians. I feel like we could take them. We've got Fizban and he's awake. Right? I mean, we got 3 people plus a kick-ass dog. We're going to the well. This is happening. We need water. 79 is where we go. 79. There's no way to know whether we'll come across another source of water, you declare, making up your mind. We have no reason to believe that we could find another one in time to do us any good. I agree, says Silvara. We have to go after this one. Fizban readily accepts your decision. In fact, the old mage climbs quickly to his feet, saying, A sensible decision, my boy, and I have just the spell to solve our little problem. The mage is already striding toward the outpost. No! You and Silvara cry in unison in voices louder than a whisper, and you once again move to forcibly restrain your old friend. It's not that we don't, trust you, you stammer, trying to explain yourself. Images of some of Fizban's other spellcasting attempts come to mind. For all you know, he might accidentally triple the number of draconians at the outpost, or turn them all into fire-breathing red dragons. It's just that, well, I think we ought to have a plan, you conclude, somewhat lamely. Well, fine, the wizard sniffs indignantly. Tell me when you've decided what I'm supposed to do. Fizban turns his back, sulking pointedly. Although you feel bad about hurting Fizban's feelings, you have to admit that it is infinitely easier to come up with a plan without his interference. I could use some of my magic spells, you say to Silvara, quietly moving out of the range of the old mage's hearing. They're more predictable than Fizban's, and I can cast a sleep spell that would immobilize most of the draconians, if not all of them. Your magic is more reliable, agrees Silvara, but who knows what else might encounter along the way that would require you to use your limited magic. I think we can sneak in once it's dark and take the water we need without alerting the draconians. That's incredibly risky, you note. If one draconian spots us, we'll have the whole camp to contend with. True, but why would they spot us? Are we such clods that we can't get some water without alerting every draconian in the territory? If you sneak in, I'll cover you, and we can ask Fizban to watch Dargo. You laugh at her jest, but the decision is still yours. If you decide to immobilize the draconians with a spell, turn to 144. If instead you wish to sneak into the well during the night, turn to 210. Okay, I am inclined to sneak in. I think that's a great way of circumventing. But this is going to, I think this is going to depend on my roll. And I've been rolling like crap the past couple of times. So what do you guys think? Should I roll? Should I sneak in or should I cast a sleep spell? I only have 3 spells left for this entire journey, and I have no idea how long this is going to take. I might have to save my place here, actually, because we're almost at an hour. I'm sneaking in. Screw it. We can do this. I think I can. 210. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Tippy toe. Stealthily, you work your way into the draconian outpost. Creeping along the ground, you move along. In a slight variation on Silvara's plan, your 3 companions wait several hundred feet behind you, ready to rush forward at the first sign of trouble. You sight the lone draconian that stands guard and wait until the creature moves away from you. Then you glide forward towards the well. Oh, Todd, I should have done sleep. Roll a die and add the result to your perception skill. Okay, here we go. I got to get over 19. I've got 15. We can do this. Come on, baby. Yeah, all right. We got 20. We did it. 39. Woo! I was actually kind of worried, to be honest. Suddenly, you hear footsteps. You hug the ground and listen carefully. Another draconian is outside. The creature walks in front of you, less than 10 yards away. Scarcely daring to breathe, you watch as it goes up to the draconian standing guard. The 2 monsters converse briefly in their low, guttural voices, but the second draconian soon retraces its steps towards the building and disappears inside. Relaxing again, you crawl forward and reach the well. The guard moves toward the other side of the compound, allowing you to hastily fill your water skins. Once more, the guard passes, patrolling regularly around the outpost. As he moves away, you quickly scuttle back to your companions. All set, you whisper. I had a close call, but they didn't see me. Let's get away from here, said Silvara. You all agree that leaving the area is a fine idea, so you waste no time in talk. Staying low until you have passed around the draconian outpost, you move quickly across the starlit plains of Estwilde. Gain 1 experience point. Oh yeah! Whoop whoop! Listen to the lady. Gain 1 experience from 192. 192. She's a dragon. She must know what she's talking about, right? That's how it works. All right, I think 2 hours is my max of being able to read out loud. It starts to get even more choppy than it already is at that point. If you guys like this, hit the like button. I appreciate it. But I actually want to get these other books too. Like the Prisoners of Pax Tharkaz one, which is the first one that was ever released, actually tells of the releasing of the Prisoners of Pax Tharkaz that's different than Dragons of Autumn Twilight. Kind of cool, right? By morning, you have traveled many miles from the draconian outpost. You seek shelter in a shallow cave, realizing that you'll have to rest a while to recover your strength from the grueling night march. At least, groans Silvara as she slumps in the cave floor, we have water again. Indeed, the liquid is cold and refreshing. You rest for the whole day, enjoying the respite from the burning sun as much as the taste of water. Perhaps we should travel at night, you suggest. The others readily agree, so you prepare to move out after sunset. Conserving your water, you nonetheless make good time by traveling in the cool of the evening. Faint starlight and, later on, the glowing cool light of Krynn's silver moon illuminate your path. For several more days, you maintain a regular schedule of resting during the day and marching at night. Gradually, the land begins to climb. Your pace becomes more urgent as you sense that, at last, you are nearing the forbidden range of mountains that surrounds Sanction. After what seems like an endless climb before you, smoking against the skyline, you see the towering peaks of the Lords of Doom. Yeah! Hey, look, it's, Coochie? Coochie. Chasing off the frost giant. Sucker. Alright, 138. I have no idea how long this is, so we might be close to the end, as far as I know. The trail you follow narrows as it begins to climb into the mountains. Trees sprout to the sides. If the dry and spindly plants that surround you deserve to be called trees, making the path difficult to maneuver. In a few days, Sanction should be in sight. Halt! The harsh voice reaches out from the woods as you stop without thinking. Before you can react, you see several dozen warlike humans equipped with spears, bows, and arrows, and a wide variety of swords emerge from the scraggly undergrowth. A tall warrior leads the group standing in the trail before you and blocking any further advance. Who are you? He demands, and what business brings you to the slopes of the Doom Range? Silvara moves up close to you and clasps your hand. They don't look like any of the High Lord's infantrymen, she whispers hurriedly. True, but they don't look friendly either. The warriors before you are closely clustered, and you realize that a well-placed spell could subdue many of them. With luck, you might be able to make an escape. On the other hand, the humans have not attacked. Can you risk talking to them? If you want to fight your way out of the encounter, turn to section 67. If instead you decide to talk to these people, turn to 106. Okay. All right. First of all, they're not a part of... There's a lot of bandits around this area. And we must look like a really great target. But again, we're all awake. Fizzban's with us. I'm gonna parlay with him. I'm not gonna fight him. Yeah, let's talk. 106. Who knows what's gonna happen? It's not always hack and slash. Doggone it, come here. 106. Deciding to try and talk your way out of this encounter, you confront the tall leader of what appears to be a group of bandits. Why do you accost us? You demand, adding to your voice the haughty touch of royalty that you have learned since childhood. Oh, great, that's going to work in our disadvantage. This is not the time to be insolent, cautions the bandit leader. I will ask the questions. Now explain yourselves, and quickly. You ponder for a fleeting moment. While these men are warlike, they are, as Silvara pointed out, much too poorly equipped to be mercenaries in the service of the dragon armies. Yet they give you no indication that they would be sympathetic to your mission. Should you tell them the truth, or would it be better to make up a story that would be more acceptable to criminals and bandits? If you decide to tell the truth, turn to 85. If instead you wish to bluff your way through, turn to 25. There's no way I'm telling them that I'm going after dragon eggs. That's crazy, right? Right? I don't know. Oh, man. Oh, man. I gotta bluff my way through. There's no way I can tell them the truth. The thing is, they're not with the dragon armies, which means, and they're not, they're just they're not well equipped. So maybe they're just sympathetic and survivors. Or trying to survive in this area. I don't know what to do. I genuinely don't. I wish I could do a perception check to see if I could... If this was AD&D, I would do a perception check to see if I could trust him. I'm going to bluff my way. Let's go to 25. I can't trust randos. Especially not with the truth. Let's see. Whatever the business of these battles, you cannot risk telling them the truth of these bandits. You can't risk the truth of telling them about your mission. You make up a story as you tell it. We journey to Sanction, you begin, hoping that you sound more confident than you feel. We wish to beg a favor of Dragon High Lords, you continue. No, why would you go there? We are poor farmers, and the burden of taxes is about to ruin us. We wish to beg for an opportunity to keep only exist enough of our crops to allow us to survive. You anxiously watch the bandits' reactions. Two scruffy-looking warriors consult with the leader in hushed tones. Finally, the big man turns to you. We are no friends of the High Lords, states the tall man. You may go on your way, but I warn you not to expect any sympathy from those tyrants. Your heart swells with relief as you're about to march up the trail where the thought occurs to you, these men seem to be enemies of your enemies. Perhaps, if you told them the truth, they might be able to help you. Yet, they have given you leave to go, and your sense of caution warns that it might be wise to leave while you have the opportunity. If you decide to tell these men your true mission, if you just said, well, okay, here's the good and bad of this. If we decide to try to enlist them, they may help us cause a distraction in order to sneak into the Lords of Doom. On the other hand, they would then know the truth, and if they get captured, they could spill the beans. Ugh. Decisions. I don't know what to do. We got Fizzban with us. I got Silvara, Silver Dragon. I'm not going to trust him. You know what? Not everyone is cut out to be a hero. Yeah, no, I can't do it. All right, 61. You decide to remain cautious and count yourselves as lucky to escape the bandits so easily. You quickly begin to move up the trail. Thank you, kind sirs, you say politely, bowing deeply to the bandits as you step out of the way. Good luck, wishes the leader with what sounds like true sincerity. Oh man, I should have used their help. For the rest of the day, you march upward, moving slowly along the steep trail leading to the pass. Ahead of you loom the hulking Doom Range volcanoes, and you estimate that you will pass over them tomorrow. With luck, shortly after that, you will enter the evil city of Sanction. After spending a restless night in a thicket of scrubby trees, you strike out for the pass. The heat, even at this altitude, is oppressive, and a pall of smoke hangs over the landscape. Nevertheless, you press on, hoping to reach the summit of the pass that same day. Hey, look. It's the, this one. The Frost Giant. All right, 193. Can you imagine putting all this together? That would be a pain that took us. Yeah, don't suck them into this. All right, we're back here. Smoke and ash pour from the massive mountains to either side of you, clouding your vision and choking your lungs. Each step requires a major effort, but you draw gradually closer to the pass. Finally, the trail levels out in a wide saddle between the two volcanoes. The smoke is so thick that you have no idea what time of day it is. You take the same consolation in the fact that from here on, the journey will be downhill. Without even pausing to rest, you march through the pass and begin to descend to the other side. The landscape is barren of living things, with only black rocks jutting up from the ground in scattered patterns. No plants grow here, nor is there any water. Roll a die and add the result to your perception skill score. If the 20 is 20 or more, 142. If less, 114. Oh boy. Please don't be another giant. Come on, baby. Ah, sweet. We got 20. Perception, 15 plus 5. 142. You study your surroundings carefully as you move into the pass, knowing that this is a likely place for a guard post. Your caution is rewarded as you see a flicker of reptilian movement behind one of the looming rocks. Wait a minute, you whisper to your comrades. We're walking into an ambush. Wait for my signal, you continue, and we'll try to run for it. You pause to consider the amount of magical power you have left. One of your spells, called Haste, would serve admirably to speed up you and your companions sufficiently to enable you to outdistance any pursuers. Without this spell, you may have a real fight on your hands. If you want to use the spell to race through the pass, turn to 187. If you cannot afford to risk using magic at this time... Okay, I've got 3 left, and I've got some experience points that I can convert into a spell. Oof. I don't know, man. I'm going to use haste. Screw it. If you want to use a spell to race through the pass, turn to 187. 187. We're doing it. Okay, let me take off one of my spell casting. You quickly utter the words to your magic spell, making certain that Fizzban, Silvara, and Dargo are all within the area of effect. In moments, the enchantment descends around you, and you feel the tingling sensation of hastened abilities. Mark off a spell from your character stats card. Done. Now run! You order, leaping forward yourself. Your companions join you, and you hear howls of outrage from the surrounding rocks as a number of draconians leap forward to try and stop you. Your speed is much too great, however, and the pursuing draconians soon fall behind. You are barely breathing hard as you move down the trail, covering vast distances with each leaping step. The spell's effect lasts for nearly 10 minutes, and by the time it's worn off, you have covered several miles. Your pursuers are far behind you. We must keep moving, you urge your companions. They are certain to spread the alarm. With nods of assent, the others maintain their swift pace down the trail. Ahead, somewhere in the smoky distance, lies Sanction. Sweet! Eat my dust, liver lips. 94. 94. Here we go. Oh, that's a great illustration. Look. We're all just sort of kicking it. Looking over the pass. All right. I don't have any more water. And my coffee's almost gone. Now gone. We might have to stop this here soon. All right. For the rest of the day, you hike hurriedly forward, aided by the fact that the remainder of your journey is downhill. Eagerly, you peer through the cloaking smoke for a look at Sanction, but the haze is too thick. The landscape is shrouded in perpetual twilight by a low layer of clouds. After resting for the night, you resume your march. You hurry, knowing the pursuers might be near. Look, calls Silvera after a few hours of marching. That's it, you reply, for you have at last emerged from the clouds and can see the city of Sanction. The city sprawls far below you and looks as if it is twisting and turning in an eternal nightmare. 3 volcanoes, the Lords of Doom, loom over the city to 3 sides. Each spews forth its portion of the smoke and ash that has been visible for the last several days. In the valley beneath the volcanoes, the black clouds hang oppressively like low ceilings supported by the vast mountains. Rivers of lava flow from each of the mountains, converging into the city itself. In fact, great sections of Sanction are blackened and ruined from the lava rivers, which finally reach the sea and harden, sending up hissing columns of steam. After a few more days of walking, you arrive at the outskirts of the city itself. No trace of sunlight has penetrated the murky cloud layer since you came over the pass. You doubt that you will see any again, unless you manage to leave Sanction alive. Perhaps you should be more optimistic, you think, since you can detect no signs of pursuit. All in all, your little party has made very good time, and you hope that word of your arrival has not preceded you. You have no difficulty passing through the perimeter of the city, for it is not guarded. Obviously, the High Lords do not expect anyone to enter here who does not have a legitimate reason for doing so. Before you spreads a twisting, winding network of streets and alleys. Many soldiers walk to and fro, and you can see vast military camps spreading around the periphery of the city. Keep your hoods up, you warn Silvara. Good idea, she replies. I don't think elves would be too welcome here. You both carefully conceal your ears, which would immediately betray your race. Together with Fizban and Dargo, you enter the maze-like slums of Sanction. All right. We're here. Now we just need to get underneath the mountain, find these dragon eggs, and get out. Easier said than done, I think. Easier said than done. You move cautiously among the crowded buildings of the slums, alert for any sign of pursuit. All you see are the arrogant, bullying soldiers of the dragon armies going about their business, and the cowed, submissive citizens of Sanction. Gilthanas, we'll have to rest soon, says Silvara. Let's get a room in one of these inns, you answer, indicating one of the many establishments along the narrow avenue. With relatively little effort, you find a place that doesn't contain too many soldiers, and rent a shabby room using coins you have kept in a small pouch laced tightly to your person. Even though you have to sleep on tattered mats on the floor, the rest does you all good. The next morning, you prepare to scout Sanction in earnest. Emerging from the inn, you find yourselves again under the cloudy, oppressive black sky. Let's see if we can find a place where we can get a look at the whole city, you suggest. The others nod in agreement, and once again you make your way through the maze-like slums. Psst! Hey, you! The whisper comes from your right side, and you see a shrouded beggar standing in the narrow gap between two ramshackle buildings. "Come here, I want to talk to you. You won't regret it." The figure, a filthy bearded human, gestures toward you with an emaciated hand. Silvara looks at you in alarm. Should you see what this bedraggled person wants, or should you ignore him and move hastily down the alley? All right, I am inclined to go see what he wants. I mean, what's the downside to this, right? He's just a random beggar in Sanction. Yeah, I'm going to do it. 108. 108. Ignoring his questionable appearance, you decide to see what the man wants. You move cautiously toward him, your companions follow behind. Your natural caution slows you. The man could possess valuable information, or he could lead you into a trap. Remembering your collection of available spells, you consider whether or not you should use one, such as a detect magic spell, to determine if this beggar is indeed as miserable as he appears. If you want to cast a spell on the beggar in an attempt to learn more about him, turn to 149. If you simply want to talk, turn to 45. David. I'm not going to waste detect magic on a beggar. Why would I do that? I'm going to 45. Screw it. Come on now. Come on. As you advance, the old beggar backs into the darkest corner of the alley. You look around quickly, but all you see is a pair of drunks sleeping noisily in another corner. "Can't be too careful," hisses the old man, looking around nervously. "What do you want?" you inquire. "And why do you choose us to talk to?" demands Silvara. "Because," begins the beggar, "I have something for you." Suddenly, the beggar throws off his cloak and begins to change shape before your eyes. His face becomes scaly and his knobby teeth grow into sharp fangs. He grows in size, swiftly towering to a height of at least 8 feet. His hands sprout claws even as they reach for your throat. "It's a draconian!" you cry, leaping backward and drawing your sword. "Look out!" screams Silvara, and you whirl in time to see that the two drunks have also turned into draconians. The pair attacks you from the rear. Roll a die and add the result to your fighting skill. Oh boy. I should have seen this coming. Okay. I need to get a 21 and I have a 15. Oh wait, no, fighting. 16. Okay, come on, baby. Come on, baby. 6, 6, 6. 20. Oh no. 34 is where we got to go. This is bad. This is bad. Your cut misses the charging draconian by less than an inch, but his claws are more accurate. As a vicious claw slashes across your forehead, you stagger backward, blood running into your eyes, partially blinding you, but you struggle to recover. You lose 4 hit points. Oh, man. Oh, man. I should have listened to David. The draconian swiftly follows up with another charge, and again you prepare to meet it. Quicksilver at the ready, you strike for the draconian's throat. Roll a die and add the result to your fighting skill score if it's 21 or more. Okay, come on. Come on, I need a 5 or a 6. 5 or a 6. Please. Ah! All right. 13. Not good. Not good. The draconian deftly avoids your blow. It slams into you, throwing you to the ground. The wind is crushed from your lungs, and you feel the burning where skin has been scraped from your body. You lose 3 hit points. Oh, Nike. In moments, the alley is full of draconians. Oh my gosh. You realize with chagrin that your entire party has been captured. The draconians quickly disarm all of you, binding you tightly and then push you off at a trot. Your guards are all huge draconians and each wears a bright red uniform. After a few minutes of fast marching, you approach a black and looming fortress in the south side of the city. The huge building looks grim and forbidding. Directly ahead of you stands a massive bronze gate, concealing whatever lies within the dark walls. Okay, first of all, that sucks. But second, the heroes of the lance have been caught before, so I've seriously pissed off the dice gods. They got out of scrapes like this, so I got Fizzban with me. I can get out of this too. 155. Oh, man. Oh, man. The massive bronze gates swing open as you approach, revealing a courtyard as bleak and functional as the outside of the structure. High towers line the walls, and each is manned by several alert draconians armed with crossbows. The stone of their walls is black and smooth, but the fortress looks as if it has been hastily constructed. The buildings within stand in a haphazard pattern, with narrow passages leading from one to the other. None of the buildings have windows, and the doors you can see are all sturdy iron bars. "Move!" growls the guard, pushing you forward again. "Do not attempt a draconian of the Red Watch." Do not tempt. The Red Watch, you realize, must be the huge draconians in the red uniforms that seem to be some kind of elite guard unit. Okay, I feel better. Because, you know what? If they were lesser draconians, like Baz or something, I'd be kind of pissed. But these were the elite Red Watch, so, not so bad. Yeah, I'm with you, David S. Thanks a lot, Fizzban. What are you doing? You're like, cast a fireball or something. Hook a brother up. All right. Oh, that's cool. That's what they look like. They look like Baz. One of the iron doors swings open with a shrill creak. Your guards shove you brusquely through the doorway, around several corners, and down a long stairway. Finally, you reach a corridor lined with many iron doors. The guard opens one of these with a long key. "Inside," grunts the Red Watch Draconian. You realize that argument would be worse than useless, so you duck beneath the low-hanging door frame and enter. Silvara, Fizzban, and even Dargo join you. With a loud clang, the door slams shut, leaving you in darkness. Turn to 97. 97. Oh, went too far. Oh, wow. Is that what we're going to be facing? Some crazy stuff. I need some water. I'm going to pause at 97. Yeah, I'm going to keep going for just a little bit longer. I'm curious about how close we are. I'll be right back. I will play some Dragonlance music while we wait. I think that would be fun, right? Give me 1 second as I try to pull it up. Recently, where is my Dragonlance music? There it is. I'll be right back, people. Left off, me imprisoned. That sucks. All right. For several days, you languish in the stinking confines of the tiny cell. You lose track of the time in the complete darkness, aware only that an occasional piece of stale bread or bowl of filthy water is passed to you through a narrow hatch in the door. Under the unsanitary conditions, with little hope of rescue, you grow weaker by the day. You lose 4 hit points. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh man. Fizban sits in one corner, petting the limp Dargo and staring across the cell, thinking, you presume, of a better time in his long memory. How about he heals me? How about that? Fizban. Weak and debilitated, you and Silvara lean in another corner of the cell, seldom speaking, waiting for whatever fate lies before you. You're startled from your listless waiting by an unexpected creaking noise. Turning, you see that a narrow gap has opened in the wall of the cell. Apparently, the little door provides another means of entering and leaving the cell. Beyond the door, you can barely make out a shadow figure. Vaguely human in shape, the figure moves stealthily away, leaving the door slightly ajar behind it. Look, you whisper at your companions. What is it? Asks Silvara in a listless tone. A golden opportunity, says Fizban in a surprising exuberant voice. Wait a minute, you caution. It appears to be a secret passage of some sort, but we don't know whose or why it would be open now, you say, moving forward to investigate. Nonsense! Caution killed the cat, sputters Fizban, moving forward with you. Ignoring the old man, you survey the opening skeptically. Should you take his advice and follow the passage to who knows where and who knows whom? It could be a trap, but it's hard to imagine anything worse than your present state. Perhaps, if you waited, you could learn more about the mysterious figure you saw. No way! I'm definitely going in there, right? Yeah, we're already in a prison cell. And it's a secret. Yeah, we're going. 15. All right. 15. Ooh, shadow people. Are they shadow people? Aware that you have little to look forward to in a High Lord's jail cell, you enter the passageway and begin to move quietly forward. You find yourself at one end of a long tunnel, the interior of which is illuminated by faint torchlight. You see no sign of the individual that opened the door. With a low growl, Dargo bounds ahead of you and races down the tunnel. Come on, Silvara calls, following after the Kushi as quickly as she can in her weakened state. Wishing that you could proceed a little more cautiously, you nevertheless start out after the elf maid at a rapid trot. Wait for me! Cries Fizban, hobbling along in the rear. Just after you start running forward, you hear a creaking sound behind you and turn to see the secret door swing shut. Yeah, we need a Kender, don't we? 205. 205. Wer ist 205? There we go. At least that decision has been made for us, you think. You now have only one course of action available to you, and that is to move straight down the corridor. The tunnel winds through many confused turns and often branches in several different directions. Dargo seems to have a destination, however, so you trust your dog's nose to lead you after whatever opened the door to allow your escape. The occasional torches that light the tunnel casts flickering shadows around you, but you pay little attention. Ahead now, you can see the tunnel opens to a wide cavern that seems to be lit more brightly. Dargo reaches the entrance of the cavern and stops suddenly. You and Silvara catch up quickly and halt just as quickly. The room before you is large and well lit. It is filled with creatures of a type you have never seen before. They resemble monkeys with huge hairy faces and long gangly limbs. As Fizban catches up to you, panting, one of the creatures picks up a sword and moves toward you. Oh crap, turn to 6. You watch in alarm as the strange creature moves toward you with the sword, but you quickly realize that there's nothing threatening in his actions. In fact, he holds the weapon by its blade and extends the hilt toward you. The sword is Quicksilver. Thank you, you say, accepting the blade with genuine gratitude. The weapon is yours, is it not? You realize with some shock that the creature has not made any sound, but that you received his message nevertheless. We have your other possessions over here also. The little dragons had them, but we took them away. Once again, the creature speaks directly to your mind without making any sound. The little dragons, you quickly realize, must be the draconians. Thank you for helping us, says Silvara, advancing to claim her own blade. Who are you? She continues. We are the Shadow People, responds the one who returned your sword. We wish to see the draconians defeated, and we know that you seek to do this. Obviously, the Shadow People have listened to your thoughts while you were imprisoned. You seek to know of the dragon eggs, continues the spokesman, stating a fact rather than asking a question. We will take you to them after you have rested. Come, let us tend you. You see how bedraggled and weak your companions look and realize that you must be in similar straits. The Shadow People prepare a sumptuous meal which you consume eagerly. Afterward, a group called the Counselors provides you with a nourishing potion to drink. Within a few moments after consuming the potion, you feel yourself growing drowsy. Silvara and Fizban, you notice, have already fallen asleep. Although you fight the sensation, you quickly join them. Sometime later, you awaken feeling refreshed and energetic. You recover 6 hit points. Oh yeah! That's what I'm talking about. All right, Shadow People for the win. I love the monkey faces. We're now well rested. For that, we thank you. Can you now please show us the dragon eggs? You ask the shadow person who squats at your side as you awaken. Be patient, the creature communicates with what feels like a gentle laugh. The time will be soon. All right, we have been saved. This is great. And they know where the dragon eggs are. Here's my question to you guys. If someone was speaking to you in your mind, would you just think a response to them? Or would you speak it out loud? Like in my head, I think I would just think it. There's no need to talk. It's The Shining, you know? All right, 82. 82. This page has like some... It's like the paper... This is so old that the paper itself is flaking away. Like it's disintegrating. Weird. True to their pledge, a war party of the Shadow People soon lead you to a narrow tunnel. The tunnel, you calculate mentally, leads far underground and passes beneath the city of Sanction. Indeed, responds one of the Shadow People mentally. You startled me, you say aloud. I still haven't gotten used to my thoughts being heard. It is a fine form of communication, once you get used to it, chuckles the warrior. The Shadow People have provided about a dozen warriors to accompany you on your mission. You gratefully accept the reinforcements, realizing that this increases considerably the fighting power of your little band. Your allies move so quickly and know their way around so well that this large party should be able to progress just as stealthily as you and your companions could have on your own. You know, here's an interesting thought. If I would have tried to bring those guys with me into Sanction, those bandits that I ran into outside, I think we would have all been caught and had to fight. I think that would have been a bad thing, right? Anyway. I love how there's 8 different endings, and I don't know which one I'm going to get. 186. The tall warrior you just conversed with, called Greer by the other Shadow People, seems to be the leader of the war party. He advances at the head of the party as you move into the tunnel, with you and Silvera right behind. You note with admiration that the Shadow People's vision seems to be as effective in complete darkness as your own elven sight. The party advances without a flicker of light to show the way. You realize as a hand comes up from behind and takes Silvera's hand away from yours that Fizban cannot see in the darkness. Though slightly disappointed at the loss of the delicate warm hand that felt so comforting within your own, you're glad that the old mage chose to walk with Silvera's help rather than light up the hallway with a lightning bolt. You march from what seems like a long time. Finally, a message comes from Greer. We're now at the temple of Lurkerhis. Lurkesis. We must proceed with caution. The description entering your mind fits the dragon-shaped temple in the northeast side of Sanction. Greer stops at what appears to be a blank wall, but a second look shows you the faint outlines of a secret door. Already the warrior bends down to work concealed mechanism. The door swings slowly open. Beyond lies a dank corridor, illuminated by flickering torchlight and running perpendicular to the secret tunnel. Poking his head into the corridor, the shadow warrior looks from side to side. It's empty, he informs the rest of the party. You move forward, your heart beating rapidly at the realization that you walk through the very heart of the Dragon Army's empire, an aura of evil so strong that you can practically taste it pervades this hall. One thing I don't know if you guys realize, evil actually tastes like chicken. Yeah, it's weird. 52. Evil. Like the fruits of the devil. Evil. Maybe evil is fruit. Maybe it tastes like strawberry. What do you guys think evil tastes like? Okay, we must move carefully, warns Greer. The little dragons are common here. Many shadow people have died because they were discovered in this place. Do you venture here often, you think, resisting any impulse to speak aloud? Only rarely, comes the response, and all who enter must be prepared to die, rather than to reveal our secret entrance. You easily see the wisdom of this harsh policy, for if the Draconians discovered a route into the lair of the Shadow People, the whole community would undoubtedly face extermination. In a few minutes, you arrive at a heavy wooden door. Guttural voices sound from the other side. The little dragons are beyond, warns Greer. We must slay these quickly and move on. There is no way you can avoid this guardroom. You grasp the handle of your sword, and tension, imminent battle, sending adrenaline coursing through your blood. You pause momentarily to consider your remaining spells. Should you cast a spell to start this battle, or join the Shadow People and attack with weapons? I have 2 spells left, but I can use experience points for spells. How do I do that? Spells. Okay. The number of skill points you have is... The number of skill points assigned to your spell casting is the number of spells you memorized. Experience points. You can also use up experience points to purchase additional spellcasting points, but you must give up 3 experience points to gain 1 spellcasting point. All right. 3 experience points to gain 1. That's a lot, but I think it's worth it at this point. I've gained 2 so far, so I'm going to cast a spell. But I'm going to use experience points to do it. Okay, so if you cast a spell to start the battle, 119. As soon as you decide to cast a spell, you question Greer, how big is this room? I have a spell that might help us win the fight quickly. Very large, responds the Shadow Warrior, picturing for you a high-ceilinged room that perfectly fits your purposes. Allow me to go first, you suggest in thought, and I will attempt to kill many draconians with a fiery spell. Certainly, he agrees. You sense the relief in his cogitation. Obviously, he anticipated a bloody battle with these draconian guards. Be ready, Greer warns, as 2 warriors position themselves to open the door. I'm going to do some power. I'd gained experience before Jade, which explained the 5 there. Let's see. I just totally lost my place here. Obviously anticipated the bloody battle with the draconian guards. Be ready, as the 2 warriors position themselves to open the door. With a powerful heave, they smash the portal inward. You step through and perform the motions for your fireball spell. A dozen or more red-robed draconians turn in surprise and rush toward you, but your enchantment is complete. A blazing ball of fiery heat erupts in the center of the room, billowing into the corners of the into the corners and scorching your face as its fringes. Howls of pain erupt from the draconians caught in its midst, and as the flames fall, you see that fully half of them lie dead. Mark a spell off in your character sheet. I use experience points to do it, so we're fine there. The others, wounded but enraged, charge you and the Shadow People pouring through the door behind you. You raise your sword in a quick movement to meet the charge of the leading draconian. Roll a die and add. I need 21. I have 16. Come on, 5 or 6. 5 or 6. 5 or 6. Ah! Come on. I should have expected it though, right? course I rolled a 1. Frickin' turd. Oh, so dumb. All right, 30. Enraged by its wounds, the draconian nonetheless avoids your blow and rakes your stomach with its savage claws. You lose 4 hit points. Frickin' turd. Before you can make another attack, one of the shadow warriors slays your foe. You see that, with deadly efficiency, your allies have already dispatched all the draconians. Oh, thank you, shadow people. I can't get out of my own way. And where's Fizzban? Like, honestly. All right, turn to 8. 8. Frickin' 1. That was a potent spell indeed. You saved us many wounds, and we thank you. Let us continue on in health, you reply. Greer leads the way across the room. He quickly wrenches open a heavy door on the opposite side, and you follow him into another torchlit corridor in the lower level of the Temple of Lurkisis. Lurkisis? Lurkhis. Lurkisis. That's true, Calendenza. I should be happy with my win. 110. Yeah, you know what? Screw this dice. I'm replacing it with this one. 110. Greer leads the party down another narrow passage, gliding quickly and soundlessly. The shadow people move as silently as their namesakes. You cannot help feeling awkward and clumsy, even though your armor and boots make only an occasional creaking or clink. Passing rapidly down several flights of stairs, you encounter no one. The corridors are now in it. You're now in is wide, approximately 20 feet from wall to wall, and nearly equal to the distance in height. Darting around several corners, you guess that you travel very deep under the earth. The corridor widens abruptly into a large room. At first you see nothing, but as you peer into the darkness on the other side, you recognize a long serpentine form. As it raises its head and then blocks the large doorway as it raises to its full height, you realize with sickening certainty that you have walked into the lair of a dragon. Oh, Shiza. Roll a die and add the result to your perception skill. Oh, man. Come on, new dice. Come on, new dice. Come on, new dice. I need 19 or more. And I have 15. Man. This sucks. 145. Stupid book. Stupid dice. With cool efficiency, the shadow people spread out and prepare for combat. You admire their courage as they face the most fearsome monster in the face of Krynn, a full-grown dragon. Drawing Quicksilver, you move to the side. You know, as do the shadow people, that there's only one way a group can hope to fight a dragon is to disperse. The monster's horrible breath weapon will probably kill any individuals caught in its effect. By spreading out, you hope to limit the number of victims the dragon can claim with an attack. As you approach, the dragon rears it to its full height, flapping threateningly. Its reptilian head reaches nearly to the top of the chamber. Bellowing in rage, the dragon turns its head to the side. You see it breathe. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. A column of black liquid squirts from the monster's mouth, striking one of the warriors squarely. The poor fellow does not even have time to scream. The caustic acid, it's a black dragon, burns the flesh from its bones, leaving a clean skeleton to slump slowly to the floor. Attack! The mental command comes from Greer. Oh, man. And the whole party leaps forward. Roll a die and add the result to your fighting skill. All right. All right, come on, baby. Come on, baby. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I needed. That is awesome. Okay. 54. 54, 54, 54. With a coordinated rush, you, Silvara, and the Shadow Warriors attack the gigantic dragon, selecting a target behind the creature's foreleg. You drive Quicksilver deep into the monster's vitals. The barbed hooks of the Shadow People also strike home in many places. 123. 123. The dragon rears backward, thrashing and bellowing in pain. Again and again your blows strike home. The dragon wreaks damage with its mighty claws, slashing the life from several of your allies, but soon the fight is over. The dragon slumps slowly to the floor. With a convulsive shudder, it opens its eyes, and they seem to look directly into yours. It utters a single sentence that puzzles and alarms you, even in your time of victory. "You shall not harm my eggs." It gasps, and then it dies. Oh shit. Did we just kill a good dragon? Oh. I hope it didn't mean literally its eggs, because... Oh man, I hope I didn't just kill a good dragon. Turn to 95. Yeah, 95. You have no time to ponder the meaning of the dragon's dying words. Leaving the bodies of 4 warriors who died in the fight, you follow Greer through the dragon's lair into another long corridor. "We know that the eggs are near," says the warrior, "but we must find them, for we have not in the past gone beyond that dragon." Passing a narrow corridor that branches to the side, you continue forward until you reach a series of rooms. Looking into the first one, you realize that you have reached the object of your quest. Scattered about the floor, looking even in the faint torchlight like a priceless collection of golden nuggets, are huge gilded orbs. You have found the eggs of the gold dragons. Yeah! That's awesome. Okay, how come I didn't get experience from killing a doggone dragon? You know what I mean? Where's my experience? That's crap. 115. All right, hold on. Before I get into this. It's Quicksilver. Of course it's one heck of a sword. All right. "Kill Thanos!" Silvera gasps, grasping your arm tightly as she stares at the eggs. "Something horrible has happened. There should be many more eggs than this." Even the old wizard shakes his head at the sight, as if acknowledging that something is definitely wrong. Not knowing how to respond, you look into the other rooms and find eggs of silver, brass, bronze, and copper. In every case, Silvara is certain that many eggs are missing. And then you notice, coming from the depths of the corridor ahead, still ahead of you, a low, throbbing chant. The nature of the chant is magical, you are certain. The content is so evil, so despicably perverted, that the very sound of it sends shivers down your spine. Silvera's I'm sorry, I was thinking of the context of... Never mind. Silvera's face blanches in stark terror. You know with sickening certainty that the source of that chant will explain the mystery of the missing eggs. Turn to 27. Oh boy. Oh boy, here it is. Oh, cool. Look at the image. We've got some... corrupting going on. Scarcely daring to breathe, you and Silvara lead the party down the corridor away from the egg rooms and toward the source of the sinister chanting. Ahead, you see a chamber off to the side. From this chamber, the reddish glow of firelight spills into the corridor. The chanting seems to come from within. Moving stealthily, you, Silvara, and Greer advance towards the chamber and look around the corner. The room before you stretches for 100 feet or more. Huge firepots illuminate the scene with a nightmarish glow. In the center of the room stands a slime-covered platform that looks like some kind of altar as you watch. Spellbound, a hideous wrinkled cleric carries a brass dragon egg to this altar and lays it there. Opposite, the cleric squats a red dragon, greedily eyeing the egg. A trickle of slimy drool runs from the dragon's jaws onto the altar unnoticed. From the shadows at the rear of the room, another human advances. From his garb, you guess that he is a magic user. The dragon and the 2 humans begin to chant with a low, keening sound that gradually increases in intensity. A shroud of darkness settles over the egg. Then the formerly shining orb begins to expand, its shape distorting grotesquely. Cracks appear in the surface, and black slime oozes from the cracks. When the egg has grown to twice its original size, it cracks open and gives birth to draconians. "No!" Silvera's voice erupts in a strangled gasp. Fortunately, the creatures at the altar do not notice. Stumbling backward, your stomach churning with revulsion at the desecration, you pull Silvara and Greer away from the entrance. If you fought the draconian guarding these eggs... If you fought the draconian dragon guarding these eggs, go to 153. If instead you talk to symbol... No, we fought. So 153. 153. I hope we didn't mess up by fighting it. Sobbing quietly, Silvara tries to absorb the shock of what you've just witnessed. Her feeling of guilt must be tremendous, knowing that the neutrality of the good dragons has been purchased by such foul deceit. The oath, you observed quietly, obviously, can no longer be considered binding. For the first time, you see a glimmer in Silvara's eyes, showing the powerful creature that she really is. I must destroy these monsters, she says, her voice rising in pitch as she speaks, for what they have done to our children. If this is your wish to attack, my warriors will aid you, offers Greer. But at least consider an alternative. We could gather the rest of our people and carry the remaining eggs to a place of safety before raising an alarm. Silvara clutches her fists and shakes a bitter tear from her eye. Her need for vengeance compels her to hasten to battle. Fizban, who has been a silent observer to this exchange, places his hand on Silvara's arm in restraint and speaks. His voice is more serious than you have ever heard it. You, Gilthanas, have been our leader throughout this quest. It is only fitting that you make the final decision. Know that, if you attack, my power will be with you. You consider the options. Should you attack the desecrators of the eggs immediately, perhaps saving more eggs from the perverted fate you witnessed, or would it be better to carry the rest of the shadow people to help carry the eggs out to safety as you can before you're discovered? Okay, this is a real difficult choice here. Fizban, in serious, totally conscious tone, i.e. Paladine, has just said his power is with us if we decide to fight. And we could save more eggs. I've got 2 experience points that I can add to my rolls. Oh, gosh. Or do I just save the eggs that I can? I need you guys' thoughts on this. Should I fight or save eggs immediately? Let me know. I'm going to sit here for a minute. Oh, decisions. Oh, decisions. First of all, let me figure out how to add experience points to my stat rolls. To use your experience points to improve a die roll, you must decide how many points you will use before rolling the die. Then you add those points to your die roll and subtract them from your experience points. Regardless of how the die roll turns out, the points are used up and must be deducted from your total. Okay. 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 Oh, see, David wants to kill, Todd wants to save. I've got Fizban, who is going to help. I'm taking him. I gotta take him. All right, Charlotte, you pushed me over the edge. Thank you for watching live, by the way. Let's do this. 98. Come on, let's do this well. 98. 97. Where's 98? 98. We're fighting. You look at Silvara's grief-stricken face and share her pain, and you share her rage. Let us attack this foulness now, you declare, before it has a chance to pervert the life of any more eggs. Very well, says Fizban quietly. Silvara does not answer, but rises and moves forward toward the chamber of corruption. You and the Shadow Warriors follow behind her. You contemplate a surprise attack, knowing that you face a cleric and mage of high power, as well as a red dragon. Silvara removes any chance of this, however, as she strides brazenly into the room. No, creatures of evil, she calls in thundering tones, that you have betrayed the good dragons. Now you shall feel their wrath. For the first time in your presence, Silvara assumes her true shape. Her new form fills the entrance of the room. Silver scales glisten along her flanks, and a sinuous tail stretches behind her. Massive claws strike the floor as the huge silver dragon advances. Her size dwarfs even the red dragon in the room. Momentarily speechless, you regain your voice. Attack! You cry, springing forward at the silver dragon's side. A whoosh of air nearly knocks you off your feet as Silvera uses her wings to hurtle herself forward. In seconds, she seizes the neck of the red dragon, and the two serpents roll and thrash around the chamber. We actually have an image of this. This is bad as so cool. It's right here. Quicksilver in your hand, you leap at the magic user even as he starts to cast a spell. Roll a die and add the result to your fighting skill score. I have 2 experience points. I'm going to use both of them. I need to get a 22 or more. Fighting, so I have a base fighting of 16, 17, 18. I need a 4 or more. Come on, please give me a 4 or more, please. Son of a bitch. I am so upset. Oh my gosh. Damn it. Okay. Suddenly, a blast of magic energy erupts before you, sending you sprawling flat on the floor. You lose 6 hit points. Oh my gosh. Oh mama. The charred bodies of 2 shadow warriors lie beside you. Leaping to your feet, rage mercifully clouding your sense of pain, you again rush at the magic user. Roll a die and add the result to your fighting skill score. If your total is 22 or more, move to 218. If it's less, repeat this section. If, as a result of repeated attacks, your hit points drop to 0 or less, your adventure ends here. Okay. So here's the truth. I have 3 hit points left. If I fail this roll, I will die because it's going to take 6 away from me. So this last roll means everything. I have a 16. I need a 22 or more. I need a 6. I have to roll a 6 in order to live, period. I've never rolled a 6 on this die. I've rolled a number of them on that one. I need a 6. Can this be a massive heroic moment? Or am I going to die and have to do this again someday? Oh, man. Come on, Paladine. Look after this roll. You said you were with me. You said you were with me. Please. Of course. Oh my gosh, how disappointing. Thank you all so much for joining. Oh God. Wah, wah. So disappointing. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm going to burn these dice. Ugh. Thank you all so much for joining on this game. I want to know what's going to happen next. Damn it. I'm going to have to try this again someday. I probably won't stream it because I have horrible luck, obviously, streaming. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you coming on this crazy ride with me. And to end in such misery with a 1, a roll of a 1, a massive epic blunder at a most epic moment. Yeah, next time I'm going to give more into fighting for sure. For sure. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a fantastic day. And until next time, as I cry into my pillow, Slanjavar.